Howdy ho, happy people. Welcome to the very first episode of Schreiner Passions. This show's premise is to basically get people to know more people on campus, and the best way to do that is to have people talk about themselves. And so when people come back to campus, or when we have new students come to campus, so hopefully some freshmen are watching this, or even some new recruits, they get to know the family just a little bit better before they hit the bricks here on Schreiner. Hit the bricks on Schreiner. There we go.
Well, we got bricks outside, so I mean that works.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome the day one of Schreiner to me, the man that's very near and dear to my heart, Mr. Overlord, Dr. Matt Goodwin.
Oh, well, thank you, Dom. So I appreciate that. I'm glad that you said your day one.
Yes.
Right? Because I mean I have been here for a while, but I'm not that old, right?
Oh, no. Only 57 and a half, right?
57 and a half. Wow, I haven't heard that in a while. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking through some stuff because I knew I was going to come on here.
Uh-huh.
And there was this one time I introduced you to a group of people, and you were going to do a comedy routine. That group of people just happened to be at Pite and Plow in town. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
So I have how I introduced you. So if it's okay, I'm going to introduce you the way I introduced you there.
100%.
Is that okay?
That's good.
Okay. Hello, good people. May I have your attention, please? I would like to introduce to you Sir Lord Dominic Michael Mason.
Yes. Thank you.
Applause.
Applause. Thank you.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
Good day. That was a good day.
That was really good.
Yeah.
And that was basically about passions as well when we did that.
It was. That was your leadership class,
Mm-hmm.
setting up with Pite and Plow in town and an open mic.
Yep.
Allowing people to come up and sing or tell poetry.
Yeah.
You did your comedy routine.
Oh, yes. I would like to think that I'm funny, and it really doesn't matter what other people think. I think I'm funny.
I think there's a lot of people there that day that thought you were funny. You're really good.
Thanks. I needed it. So I wanted to bring you on the show because I'm a little ashamed to say, after knowing you for about almost 5 years, I don't know you too well, actually. So I want to use this opportunity to get to know you a little bit better.
Sure. Well, I was born. Okay.
Wait a second.
Oh man. All right. Cool. Well, I mean, I guess we could kick things off a little bit with like the storytelling component, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
I have grown into really enjoying the idea of storytelling
Mm-hmm.
and finding different ways to bring people together like that. So, I guess if you want to really narrow it down into, what am I passionate about?
Right.
I'm passionate about bringing people together and then helping them individually and as a group move forward in whatever way they want, right? I like to help make people better. Right,
Mm-hmm.
and in whatever that means, right? I do it I try to do it in a lot of different ways, right? It just so happens that in my position here at Schreiner, I get a lot of opportunities to do it in different ways.
Which is great. It's absolutely perfect for you because you always find some way to finagle it to make it more creative and bring out everyone else's like creativity.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess. I just, I take the time to kind of help put pieces together
Mm-hmm.
and allow that creativity to happen. I have found that it was something that was hidden
Mm-hmm.
within me, I think. I was creative, but in a whole different way growing up. I was very much someone who didn't want to be in front of a camera. There's no way I would have done this, back high school, even college. It took a lot for me to get up in front of people. I started breaking through kind of that mold once I started working here professionally.
Okay.
And most recently, kind of started that downhill roll momentum. With that D&D stuff that you guys introduced me to a little bit, gameplay.
Oh, yes.
Right? I mean, that was the creation of the Fableton character who just introduced you a few moments ago.
Uh-huh. For the people at home that don't know who Fableton is, that is Matt's very first D&D character. It was a gnome bard who was able to use his charisma talents to make people do whatever he wanted.
That comes across very evil in a way, Dom.
Just a tad bit. Just a little.
Basically, the character was developed. It was in a way of suggestion that just happens to suggest to people what they might want in gameplay. Right? It's a 3-foot gnome. I thought that would be funny. 3 foot 1 inch. Right? You gotta give him that 1 inch because he's not short. Right? So in gameplay, that was just kind of his bit. That was his thing. He's not a short gnome. He was actually a gladiator gnome.
Oh my god. I remember that.
But all that came from just really you guys helping me to break into an area of myself that was there and I didn't know how to really get it out.
Right.
The idea of gameplay, role play was really new to me. Jake Crawley, a good friend of mine, alumni of Schreiner, introduced the concept of role playing to me in that sense, right? Introduced Critical Role, which is super popular.
Oh, yeah.
I don't miss an episode of that. I spend a lot of time listening and trying to learn so I can insert that into my stuff. And yeah, a lot of things have come from that.
Yeah, and when playing D&D, you get that time to actually work with the people that are around you in a different capacity. And you also get to work on different skills that you may not have even knew that you had. And it just starts to blend itself back into your professional life. And even Jake's writing his dissertation about that right now.
He is. It's a interesting thing, right? I mean, for me to sit here and talk about the idea of playing D&D, I wouldn't say it's my passion. It's something I enjoy.
Right.
The passion piece is a part of the gameplay, right? Because you get to come together with a group of people. With that group of people, you get to try to overcome an obstacle. Within the fantasy world of D&D, you just happen to get to create your character. You get to immerse yourself within that character, within that role, and try to figure out how you're connected to everybody else in your party to set forth and overcome whatever challenge, red dragon or other, that might come up.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I had to throw that in there.
You always do.
But I like to do that. I think really for me, the passion component comes from that aspect, right? So that D&D, if you bring that into the real world, I mean, that's really what I'm passionate about. I like to help bring people together, and then however I can help make the group and make them better. And I found different ways of doing that. Growing up, I was an athlete. I played soccer since probably I couldn't even walk, right? I mean, that was the sport. And when I kind of, hung up my boots, after tearing my Achilles a couple of years ago, I had to find a different way of doing things. I had to find a way of filling that void. And, the role play, the gameplay helps in that. I get to bring that to the workplace every day, which is nice. And then I also volunteer coach for my daughters, 12 and 10, right? They're not as little as they used to be, but as they're getting older, I get to participate in their athletic ventures and help them, and then other kids of the same age learn skill sets, come together as a group of people, overcome an obstacle. I mean, it's everything kind of revolves around that idea of I like creating.
I love that about you. You're always able to put something in a way where you are trying to cultivate other people and trying to help them grow more as a person. In the comic book world, a lot of people around like 2008, 2009 stopped liking superheroes a lot because superheroes were reactionary. They always did something after the fact of something. They weren't very proactive. They're the Avengers, not the Vengers.
I still think that'd be a good movie.
Absolutely.
Thor, well, it might happen. But yeah, I like to. I don't like to be stagnant. I like to create. I like to think 2 steps ahead, right? And so if we, in this moment, are doing this, that's amazing. That's great. But okay, moving forward, what does the horizon look like?
Right.
How can we take what we're in now and grow moving forward to make it even better, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much not a person who's like, oh, that door is shut. Let's just go over here and find a different door.
Yep.
If I want to go through that door, I'm going to find a way to go through the door.
Find a way.
And then take a look, and if it's worth continuing in that direction, sweet. If not, we'll close the door and we'll move to the next one.
Nice.
But I like the growth piece, right? The creative piece, I think, has to be there for growth to happen.
Absolutely.
But I like to be a part of the growth, whatever that means, right?
And about, man, it's going to be almost 4 years ago, coming in October, but you created something around the time of Halloween called Reactive Storytelling, putting us into some very treacherous situations and making us think outside of the box to make sure that we stayed alive.
Yes, those were good times. So Tuesday nights we come together, started, about 3 years ago. This, I guess, would have been the completion of year 4. And I was looking for a way, right? Because I love, the idea of what D&D does. But I was looking for just a more simplistic way of interacting within, a role-playing scenario.
Of course.
It's not a relatively new concept, right? People use this type for training and different things all the time. We wanted to have fun with it, so you can come in, play yourself, play a character you developed. We come up with a situation, a world that you get to live within, and we go forward from there. It's very reactive, right? So it's reactive storytelling. So I play off of you, you play off of me, and we see where the story takes us, and it went everywhere, right? I mean, we had, a whole bunch of people participating. We had, it's called Crystal Heights was the city. We had people when we were playing in the next room making the map out for the next part of the city, bringing it in, and we would play it. And it got a lot of fun and really interesting really quickly.
It got to the point where the MLA room got filled with 25 people in there, and we had to go find fans because it got so hot and muggy in there.
That's
and
right.
we all still stayed there until like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it was. I had no idea that it was going to take off the way it took off. It was pretty special to me, but the growth piece was the most fun, right? Because we all got to work together and going in a direction that we had no idea where the end was, story-wise, right? Because we were just playing off of each other. We got to be off the cuff. I'm more of an off-the-cuff person, so I really got to react to that. I did realize, though, that very quickly, as much as I like just to, hey, let's sit down and play and I'll just react off of you, I had to come in with a little bit of an idea of at least the world you guys were in and prepare myself for the shenanigans that were going to happen.
Oh, there were tons of shenanigans.
A lot. We did a really amazing job. We could sit here and talk about that
for hours.
Forever. Forever.
Well, I won't keep you for too long because I know that the people at home have some other stuff to get to. So I want to thank you for coming on to the show, being the very first guest. And I want to thank all of you for watching. This has been Dr. Overlord Matt Goodwin.
Now, the students, for whatever reason, have continued to add to my title.
Oh, absolutely. It has to get longer.
That wasn't just me.
But, the Murray Tribe does that. The Murray Tribe for life. And I've been Dominant Mason. And if no one's told you I love you today, we do. See you next time.